What's going on? Welcome back to STR. It's 2026. We've had a little break, but we're back, and today we're going to talk about the latest single from Archspire. It is called Carrion Ladder. It is extreme, and it's awesome. Let's get into it. What's happening, man? Happy New Year, Derek.
Happy New Year to you. Hope you are recharged and fully flushed. You were feeling sick the other day, so you had ample diarrhea. You are feeling so much better to start the new year.
And, I'm back to 100%.
Yeah, you look suave. You look svelte.
Well, you know, these things happen, and you lose a lot of water weight.
Well, good. Yeah, I took the time to rejigger my temporary home, and as you can see, you know, it looks
mixed it up a little bit.
Well, a little more vast, but yeah, it's not chaotic in here anymore, like the song we're about to talk about.
Oh man, yeah, this song Archspire, for the uninitiated, they build themselves as extreme. I don't like the name extreme music. I don't know why, but they build themselves as an extreme metal band, and my God, do they fit the bill? These guys are an intense, progressive metal. There's a laundry list of descriptives that can be used for this band. Super fast, super technical, super heavy, and they have some switches in there that are really surprising, and I've always dug it. What are your thoughts on Archspire as a band?
Technical death metal. They're from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
They did raise nearly $400,000.
They did
put this record out. Curious if a record label did not want to sign them because they average around 300 beats per minute. Very, very, very fast. I did not love it. I found the vocal patterns to be just obnoxious. Even the first few seconds were just obnoxious. And this is coming from a guy that loves death metal. I love thrash. I love fast music. But for me, all of it did not work. It's just chaos for the sake of chaos. You literally, if you wanted to actually wonder what a pig strung out on cocaine would sound like, Carrion Ladder is for you.
Yeah, I do like it. I've been a low-grade fan of Archspire for a while. I think I got into them. I watched Dean Lamb, one of the guitar players. He and I believe it's his wife have a long-running vlog, podcast, whatever you want to call it. And he's a pretty astonishing guitar player. So I've kind of followed him for a while. And this band is pretty wild, but you're right. Oli Peters' vocals are very unique in the death metal, tech death, whatever genre. He's sort of been compared to, Eminem in terms of his fast rap style vocals. And yeah, they're very, very different. They are non-traditional metal vocals, to be sure.
I think that Dean, and I believe it's Toby Morelli, keep me honest on that.
Yep.
They're great. I love their guitar work. The problem is that the vocals and just having to be fast doesn't allow them to actually show off. And I think that they're probably turning off 80% of the metal community because they have to be fast. And with an album that's coming out called Too Fast to Die, it's scheduled to release in April. Too Fast to Die, it's like, okay, we have to write a really fast record and we have to do all the things that those who contributed to the crowdsource want to hear, but that might be the only people that actually buy this thing. I personally am not remotely interested in the full length unless they actually let the band actually write music that has tempo changes, slows down, maybe, allows Oli to sing a little bit or do different kinds of vocal patterns. But I found myself bored about a minute into the record or into the song, and it's 4 minutes long.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's on the rest of the album. They, in their earlier stuff, they do have tempo changes. Things do move around a little bit. There's some, dare I say, classical style breaks where you get to hear the musicality of the band. Drone Corpse Aviator is one that comes to mind. Great song names from this band too, by the way.
Yeah. So I went back and looked.
Go ahead.
No, I went back and looked and I listened and I did hear the tempo changes. I really hope that they stay true to their past work, and Too Fast to Die is not just Carrion Ladder one after another, because again, I love Blistering Speed, I love thrash, I love technical metal, but this is just too much of everything and just gore guts. And horror movies are good because there's parts where there's gore, right? And there's a build up to it, but this is just pure gore and just annihilation from start to finish for 4 minutes. And it's kind of left me going, it's a butcher. It's just one big giant butcher.
I don't necessarily agree with that, which is, of course, fine because I'm right and you're wrong, but we'll move on.
Ouchtown population, you, bro.
You said,
as always,
somebody's got to be right, Derek. Am I wrong?
I guess. I mean, we live in a world where social media finds people that agree with them, and then they just sit in an echo chamber and
That's true.
Yell at each other about how right they are. So you
That's
can yell at me all you
true.
want. You'll have your group of people that love Archspire, and then I'll have my group of people that hate them, and we'll just yell at each other about how bad they are, and you can yell at your guys about how good they are, and then you and I will fight on here about how wrong you are.
And that's where the love is. That's where our love lies, Derek, is in the heat of battle. But you brought up a good point earlier as to why they chose to crowdfund this album. The only thing that I read about it was that they wanted to go that route so they could have complete 100% control. And we know that labels, when they're going to put their money behind a project, they often want to have some say. And who knows, maybe that is the exact reason why the band went another route, because they didn't, they weren't working with a label that agreed with their choices. I don't know. Maybe that news will come out later, but I am looking forward to the rest of the record. Their Spotify description that they posted says the band continues to push the limits of speed and virtuosity while somehow keeping a sharp focus on hooks. Their music, this is what I love. Their music sits on a knife edge of, quote, too much, and just when you think you've hit overload, they drop in a soaring melody or a meticulously crafted clean section long enough for you to breathe before throwing you back into a rap flow vocal assault or some of the fastest drumming you'll ever hear. I think that's pretty damn accurate.
Dead on. Yeah. Don't love it, but I'm glad you like it, and glad you brought it to the table, because I'm sure that there'll be a number of folks that follow our podcast that will dig it and be into it, and that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the band: Oli Peters on vocals, Dean Lamb and Toby Morelli on guitar, Jared Smith on bass, and Spencer Moore on drums. He just joined last year, replacing Spencer Pruitt, who'd been with the band for the previous 15 years. And Spencer Moore, for the drummers out there, especially, heavy, fast drummers, this guy is top notch. He's incredible. I just watched some of his playthroughs over the past week or so, and he's one of these guys that just, I don't want to say he's perfect, but he's metronomic with his speed and precision. And it's amazing because he looks pretty effortless. It looks pretty effortless when he's ripping through these parts. And as a guy who spent some time behind a kit and now in front of a kit, I'm always impressed by top level talent. And all the guys in this band are super, super talented.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. You don't write music this fast if you suck. I was watching the Bruins just crush the Rangers and put up 9 goals, and I was listening to them, and it actually, the music fit the beat down that the Bruins put on the Rangers. But, unbelievably fast, unbelievably precise. Again, I just would like to see the structure of the songs to be a little bit more dynamic. That's my personal taste. That doesn't make me right, doesn't make me wrong. Sure. It just is my personal preference.
Yeah. You're right too. I think this song comes in around 360 beats a minute, which is really damn fast. That is really cooking. But cool. Yep. Always good to talk about it. The last thing I wanted to mention before we hop off this call is, as we enter into 2026, to the three folks who hear this episode, I would ask that we all, as humans, try and work hard at being reasonable this year on all fronts, whatever it is we're doing. My wife and I had an experience earlier today. We went out to a restaurant, and Derek, by all means, stop me if I go long-winded on this. We went out to a restaurant earlier today, and we're sitting there. Fine place, nice place, artisan pizza place. And when we got there, there were a couple of gentlemen sitting at the bar. One guy sitting at the bar, and a person, older gentleman in a wheelchair with some pretty significant disabilities. I don't know exactly what the maladies were, appeared to require quite a bit of care and assistance. And they were chatting, seemed like all was well. So we sit down, we eat. We'd been there 15 minutes or so, and we see these two gentlemen walk outside and go get in a vehicle right outside the restaurant, which we could clearly see through the window. Within a minute and a half, the able-bodied gentleman comes back into the restaurant, leaving the wheelchair-bound person in the vehicle. And at first, I didn't quite think about it. I thought maybe he was getting, takeout and he's heading right back out. That was not the case. This gentleman sat back down at the bar and continued to order more drinks. So over the course of 30, 45 minutes, I've got my eye through the window on the handicapped person in the vehicle outside and his able-bodied person sitting at the bar drinking. And that seemed kind of shocking to me. Now, I acknowledge that I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what the situation was. This could have been totally fine. But there was enough of a part of me that thought, this isn't fine, and that something was off. And our server came by and I said, I have to ask a strange question, and forgive me if I hope I'm totally wrong, but I noticed the gentleman and the person in the wheelchair leave the restaurant earlier, and he came back in and appears to be at the bar drinking. Are they known to the staff? Is it a friend, a family member? Is this okay? And the server leaned down and got very quiet and said, no. In fact, all of us as servers have been standing over there watching this person through the window to make sure they're okay in the car. And then they went on to say that this able-bodied person does this regularly, comes in to get food and drinks, or moreover drinks, puts the wheelchair-bound person in the car, and then comes back in and sits for extended periods. To me, that seemed wrong. You wouldn't leave an animal in a car with the windows up. You wouldn't leave a human, I wouldn't think. Now, again, I acknowledge that I don't know the situation here, but it seemed not right to me. They said that they didn't want to make any calls or raise a fuss. They were all very young people working at this restaurant, and I suppose I could understand that. And I said, well, I am willing to make a call. And I did. I wound up calling and just saying, hey, here's the situation. I could be completely wrong. This may be completely unwarranted, but it seems to me that a person who is not able to take care of themselves is left in a vehicle while their able-bodied friend, family member, what have you, is sitting in a bar drinking, ostensibly before they're going to get in the vehicle and drive them both somewhere. The police came. We then were told we could leave, so we did. So I don't know what the outcome was. But it shook me so much that since then, the balance of the afternoon has been me just wanting to know why people don't seem to automatically work on some sense of reason when they make these choices. So that's my ask, and I apologize for going so long about it, but it just kills me. And I would hope that we as human beings can just think about the other human beings that we live near and with and around and make better fucking choices with some of these things. Again, apologies. I just had to get that out.
It's your podcast and it's your platform. And, again, the 5 people that listen are welcome to check out. But I think that metal has always been put the spotlight on the atrocities of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Famine, war, you name it. And I think that this is a great platform to bring it up. And there is in this world right now, and I mentioned echo chamber earlier.
Yeah.
There are people that go into the digital world and will go find the people that will agree with them. And so the gentleman that did that to the disabled person, it's not within the realm of reason to believe that he probably went and found the right people, told them what he does, and they said, yeah, that's a great idea. Don't treat him like a fellow human and just leave him out there. It's not your fault that he's disabled. I can guarantee you that. And that is the very problem with technology. As great as it is to have a podcast and as great as it is to be able to stay in touch, you and I talk every day. I'm in New Hampshire now. You're in Naples, Florida. We're as far apart in America as we can get. Yet we are able to do that. So there are positive things about technology, but I think metal is very good at highlighting these atrocities. And you did a very good job at highlighting an atrocity and asking for people to be kind, be mindful. The fact that guy wasn't paying attention to how that looks, it's a bad view. It's a bad look for him to do that. And I commend you for actually going out and putting yourself out there to do the right thing for your fellow man. And I'm happy for you. I'm glad you did it.
I know. I appreciate that. It just, and again, I was the first one to acknowledge to the few people that I spoke to about this whole thing that I don't know the entire situation. This may have all been totally fine. The gentleman that was taken out and left in the van may be that may have been exactly where he wanted to be. And the guy who came back in may have been drinking non-alcoholic drinks. I don't know, but it really struck me as uncaring and, as you said, unkind and not very thoughtful. And then to anybody who didn't know the situation like me, all I had to go on was the appearance. And I thought, this seems like this could end very poorly. But you mentioned the metal community, and it's one of the great things about the metal community is like they are a very caring, thoughtful group of people on average. And I mean, at Name Your Metal show, when there's a lunacy-filled pit on the floor, if somebody goes down, you will see tens of people stopping and helping you back up again. They really seem to give a shit about one another. And that's one of the reasons I like the metal community so much. So I guess to that end, yeah, I hope that society at large will think like the metal community and help their fellow man up when they get knocked down in the pit.
Well, this might be a joke in poor taste, but you kind of missed the boat. You should have gone over to the gentleman and asked him to go back out to the car and play Carrion Ladder by Archspire for the individual, and then everything would have been fine. So you missed the boat.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff goes right over the head, so I'll take it.
Again, it might be a poor taste joke, but I got to make light of the situation. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that you had to deal with that. And yeah, people, be better. Be mindful of your actions and the people around you. It's not just all about you.
Yeah.
It's not just all about you. You're not.
Yeah, I'm as selfish as they come, but I mean, yeah, there are other people
really
around you that need to be looked after sometimes. Even if they don't need it, just isn't it nice to think about somebody else for a little while? I don't know. So that's my ask for our circles in 2026. Just be mindful and be reasonable about stuff.
Yeah, sounds good. I think it's great. And for those who are keeping score, John is actually a very caring person, and I really do like him. Just for the sake of shit talk, we have to, kind of crap talk each other.
It's the brand.
Because when this started, it's the brand. When this started, there's a third person that we like to make fun of. And so he's gone. So we still have to make fun of each other, even though we get along and we largely agree on a lot of things. So, yeah. Anyways, Archspire, great song for you.
Check it out.
And for a number of people. Not for me, but check it out. Very talented. And I hope that Too Fast to Die is super hit for them, and the $400,000 that they received ends up paying dividends.
Indeed. And we just got a bunch of new stickers in. So we've got some mini stickers here. If you're interested in a little sticker pack, shoot us a message and we'll drop some in the mail too. So with that, we'll see you on the next one, D.
Sounds good.
All right, take it easy.